Hello, everyone, once again. This is Rob. Welcome back to Media Awareness. Before I continue, a reminder the fundraiser continues. For those of you new to my channel or unaware, I am a disabled individual and I use a motorized wheelchair/scooter all day, every day for my independence, and I need your help. My insurance will not cover anything with regard to my scooter as they view it as a quote luxury item end quote. Despite the fact that I am unable to walk whatsoever, in addition to being unable to use any other type of scooter or power chair, or even a standard wheelchair for that matter, as I only have limited dexterity in one hand. In addition to that, I do not have a backup scooter or wheelchair to rely on at the current time. So if my scooter should malfunction, as it has in the past, I will yet again be a fish out of water, a scenario I want to avoid at all costs. With that stated, below the title of this video in the description below, as well as in a separate section below the information pertaining to this video, you will find a spot fund link. It is a fundraiser. It's easy to contribute. It takes a few seconds, and any and all help is welcome. I cannot stress that enough. Even $5 or $10 can make all the difference in the world, and you can even contribute anonymously. The purpose of the fundraiser is to both assist me with the ongoing refurbishing of my existing scooter, as well as to help me save for the purchase of a new scooter. I arrived at these conclusions following a malfunction that disabled the battery charging mechanism and it needed replacement. And for roughly 2 weeks, I needed to be pushed around my own home by family and friends, which severely limited my independence. However, it was that long overdue wake up call that I need a backup plan, and the backup plan is to have a brand new scooter to use moment to moment, day to day, every day, and my existing scooter completely refurbished, waiting in the wings to be used at a moment's notice if necessary, when necessary. Additionally, my wheelchair van is inoperative whatsoever. It has been deemed as unrepairable, and therefore I'm saving for a new wheelchair van as well. So any and all help is welcome. And I do want to extend a gracious thanks to those who have contributed thus far, in addition to those who plan on contributing, as your contributions have and will make a world of difference in my life. Thank you all. I love you all. If you're not yet subscribed to Media Awareness, my channel, please consider subscribing and becoming part of the Media Awareness family. I'd love to have you. Additionally, if you do subscribe, please be sure to click the bell icon. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video, much like this one. So this is a film review of Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere, and this was a film that completely flew under my radar, and it's something that I was really looking forward to seeing. I didn't realize it had come and went in theaters. It was released in October 2025, and I just saw a trailer for it recently on YouTube in the midst of going through videos, and I thought, this is out? I didn't even know. And there's a reason for that. The trailer itself depicts the film as potentially showing Bruce's childhood, the trauma that he had endured, and his rise to fame. But it would culminate with the release of the album Nebraska, which was a turning point for Springsteen artistically, where he really became introspective and really assessed and reassessed his life and where he was at and what he wanted out of life and the help that he actually needed and was able to get. at that time.
It's a 305 V8.
Never owned a new car before.
Yeah, it's awfully fitting for a handsome devil rock star. I do know who you are.
Well, that makes one of us.
Hey, boss, can you do a mic check?
How's that sound?
Looks about right.
Don't need to be perfect. I want it to feel like I'm in the room by myself.
Yeah.
Let's try one.
Here's what I want you to understand. This is not about either one of us. This is not about the charts. This is about Bruce Springsteen. And these are the songs that he wants to work on right now.
I saw her standing on her front lawn, just a twirling her baton.
I'm gonna tell you a little story. When Bruce was little, he had a hole in the floor of his bedroom.
Me and her for rides.
The floor that's supposed to be solid,
And
that you're supposed to be able to stand on.
people land
Bruce, he didn't have that.
from the dead, like in the breath
Bruce is a repairman.
with a sawed-off
And what he's doing with this album
on my life.
is he's repairing that hole in his floor.
Do the best
He's repairing that hole in himself.
of Wyoming I could
And once he's done that,
in my life.
he's gonna repair the entire world.
Trying to find something real in all the noise.
You always do.
But we don't get the rise to fame. We don't get anything in terms of Springsteen working in the clubs as he historically did in the Asbury Park scene. And, his first several albums, Greetings from Asbury Park, The Wild, the Innocent, The A Street Shuffle, Born to Run, Darkness on the Edge of Town, those are all skipped over. And the film basically shows us a young Bruce Springsteen and his very troubled childhood. And we fast forward to him already being established and famous with the E Street Band and leaving a show at the end of a tour to go and record demos for an upcoming album. And this is all historically documented. And if you are a Springsteen fan, you know all of this. And you know that he went off by himself, isolated himself in the house, and recorded these demos on a 4-track mixing console with a built-in cassette deck. I actually have one of a similar kind that I used to record on in the 90s, about 10 years after Springsteen. I digress. It's interesting to see him working and lyrically being influenced by certain things around him, TV, interpersonal relationships, and just a plethora of other things going through his mind, and feedback from the executives and the ones that really want him to put out more hits. And it's interesting from that aspect, but I think the movie it could have been about an hour shorter or more. I'm not even sure how long it was, but it seemed like it dragged on forever. And it got really depressing to watch, I'll be honest. The Bob Dylan biopic that was out last summer starring Timothy Chalamet was spectacular. I did a review on that. It's on my channel. You can check that out. It is a phenomenal biopic. And I'm really picky about these biopics because I like them to be accurate. I like them to paint us a picture of how things happened and do so in a way that is as uh, on the mark as they could possibly be. And this is on the mark when it comes to the making of Nebraska, but that's all we really get. We do get some of the foreshadowing of Born in the USA, in particular with the title track being performed in the studio and being allegedly recorded at that point in time. But when Bruce goes in to record the material for Nebraska with the E Street Band, it just doesn't sound right to him. It's not capturing the feel that he had on the cassette tape. And ultimately, the decision is to release what he had recorded on the 4 track, which was unheard of at that time. So in that aspect, it's interesting, but it didn't have to be as long as it was. And we could have potentially had a film that showed his rise to fame, that showed him working in clubs and those early albums, showed him being signed to a record label, and all of the pressure that put on him, and meticulous recording sessions, especially the Born to Run sessions, which were really meticulous on his part in terms of what he wanted the album to sound like and to evoke for the listeners. But it's all skipped over, and we just kind of pick up from a point where he's already successful. He's down and out because he's just finished the tour. He has to go write a new album, and he's in a point in his life where he's totally and completely obsessed with reflecting and trying to get a handle on who he is as an individual. And that is interesting to an extent. It could have been a 20-minute segment in a longer film that showed the rise to fame, maybe even going up to the Born in the USA time frame and the release of the album and the success of the album and subsequent tour, and just ending it there or shortly thereafter saying that Bruce went on to record and still recording and touring to this day to sold out audiences everywhere, blah blah blah. But I honestly found this to be an extremely depressing experience to go through watching this. And I was looking forward to this yet. And it disappointed me on multiple levels. It disappointed me on the level that it was a misleading trailer, in my opinion. It disappointed me on the level of the amount of scrutiny that the film focused on in terms of the writing of Nebraska. And Bruce's insistence that it wasn't sounding right. They could have cut a lot of those little segments of him saying that down to 1 or 2 minute scenes as opposed to 5 to 10 minute long scenes. It dragged on, and there is some performance aspect seen, in particular at the very beginning of the film, right after the intro, we see Bruce performing Born to Run, ending a show, going off stage, recording Nebraska. We see him recording a lot and putting down these lyrics on paper and recording more and putting down more lyrics on paper and interpersonal relationships and putting lyrics down on paper, and it just drags on. I'm a huge Bruce Springsteen fan. I have been throughout most of my life. My family has always been into Springsteen, and I saw Springsteen twice in concert. But with all of that said, and with Nebraska being a pivotal point in his career, the film could have shown the rise to fame and then the release of Nebraska and the initial expectations of it not selling, yet selling tremendously well for what it was, without any promotion and without any accolades of any sort at the time. We could have seen that and have it end there. We could have had it end with basically Bruce saying, it doesn't matter what I do, I can really knock it out of the park. And that's what Bruce consistently did throughout his career. Yet we focus on Nebraska in particular, and it's like a feature-length promotional film for the re-release of the Nebraska multi-disc set, which includes the studio renditions recorded back in the early 80s of the Nebraska songs themselves with the East Street Band that were never released prior. It seems like it's a commercial for that, and I can't help but thinking this. And that really annoys me in a lot of ways, because Bruce did a 20-minute long video roughly describing the same things that were in this film, that he went away and recorded these songs on a 4-track recorder in a house and just focused on that entirely and couldn't really get the feel for the songs with the band in the studio, so he insisted that the album be released as it was from the 4-track cassette recording. It could have been just that. That's what Bruce showed us himself. He summarized that rather perfectly, and it's well documented as well. So this is a redundant film in that aspect, and it's a very forgettable film. It's forgettable in the aspects of I want to forget it. I know all these things, so I didn't need to see them played out. And if you are a Springsteen fan, you know these things. If you are even remotely familiar with his catalog, Nebraska sticks out like a sore thumb uh, in that time frame of his career, and it does so for a reason. And if you dig into it even mildly, you find out what that reason is. It's what he wanted. So, uh, this film, if you're a diehard Springsteen fan, and if you really, really want to watch him struggling through this writing process and going through a really difficult time mentally, emotionally, dealing with his past, his upbringing. And if it doesn't bring you down, this is one great film for you to watch. But if it's something that is going to trigger you or is going to potentially drag you down, do not watch this film. I urge you, because it really is a downer. And it tries to end on a high point with him returning to the road. Um, we don't really get a sense of what he's supporting at that point in time. We can only presume by that point it is Born in the USA, because he wasn't touring whatsoever for Nebraska at all. No tour, no promotion, no videos, no nothing. And there was actually a promotional video for Atlantic City that was issued, but it's kind of ignored with this. It's brushed over, and it's basically said no promotion, no touring, no nothing. So, yeah, if you really want to hear a really amazing version of Atlantic City from the Nebraska album in a more rocked out manner, I recommend the MTV Plugged album version, where he was actually with a new band he had assembled at the time to record two albums, The Human Touch and Lucky Town, both of which are phenomenal albums, by the way. Um, but it's on the live album or the live video, depending on what you want to look at, where he does a great version of Atlantic City with the band, and it's really powerful. Uh, the Easter Band version that comes with the multi-disc Nebraska set, I have not heard yet. I haven't acquired this set. Is it something that I'd like to have from my Bruce Springsteen collection? Eventually, yes. But um, it's also a really uh, it's an album that you have to be in a certain mindset to listen to. And if you're not in that mindset, it's going to really affect you adversely, in my opinion, because it does have a lot of negativity attached to it and a lot of um, lyrical imagery to different events in his personal life, which he very eloquently phrased in these songs, but um, he was dealing with a lot at that point in time on an emotional level and coping with his upbringing. Um, and if it's something that interests you guys, check it out. It is streaming on Hulu, which is where I watched it. But it is definitely not a good biopic at all. As far as music films are concerned, I will do a separate video ranking what I feel are the best biopics from maybe 10 to 1. Because there really haven't been a lot. So I'll do a top 10. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments section below. Feel free to also reach out to me via the Facebook link in the description or my email address also in the description below. Let me know if you'd like me to also watch any biopics that I may not have seen or that you think I may not have seen. But I'll be working on a ranking in the meantime, and hopefully that will be something coming very soon. I also have some more reactions, more reviews coming on the way, so please stay tuned, and I will see you all again soon. Have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.